Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on Power Query. So right now if you look in this particular file, we do have the projected headcount and we also have another table regarding the recruitment. So in this first table, as shown over here, is the projected headcount. Under the projected headcount, we do have the headcount for the respective months. Like for example, accountant, we do have 1 headcount, and then March onwards we have 3 headcount, April onwards we had 4 headcount. So basically in this particular table, what we want to know is how many new hires has been done in the particular month. For example, if we look in clerk department or clerk position, there are 2 candidates are hired on March 2022. So if you look here carefully, on March 2022, 2 new candidates are hired. But if you look at the headcount, there are 6 headcounts altogether as of June 2022. So if we look carefully, so on March we do have 2 new hires. But as of June, we have another 4 new hires. So basically, I want to have a new table that shows me how many new people or how many new hire has been done in this particular company. So let's get started. So what I'll do is, I'll go to this particular data. The first step is I need to highlight the table. So once I highlight the table, I will go to data and then I will click from table/range. Over here, which is located at the get and transform data. So I'll click it over here. Once I click it over here, a small box will appear and I will press OK. So when you press OK, it will go to Power Query Editor. So I'm going to press OK and then eventually it will be navigated to Power Query Editor. So what I want to do is, of course, we do have null. Normally, if there is a null in Power Query Editor, it indicates the space is blank or it's either 0 or blank. So in this case, I don't want it to be null. What I want it to do is, I want to replace the null with 0. So I go to Transform, I click Replace Value, and then a box will appear. So I want to replace null with 0. And then I press OK. So automatically, you notice that the null has been replaced to 0. And then what I want to do is, I want to unpivot the column. So I select this column, right click, and then I will go to unpivot other column. So once I unpivot, so now you'll have the details, the head count for the respective months. And then what I'll do the next step is, I'll go to add column and then I will click the index column. So index column is basically will show the sequence like 0, 1, 2 until the end. But I don't want the sequence. What I want to do is, I want to group, segregate into the each respective position. So I go to Transform, and then I'll go to Standard, I'll go to Modulo to find the remainder. So I click this. So basically why I click this, because I want to group it according to the position. So I want to get the remainder of 7. Why? Because we have January, February up to 7. So I put here 7 and then I press OK. So once I press OK, so now you'll notice that we do have a sequence like 0 to 6, one group, 0 to 6, one group. So every position is segregated into one group. And then what I'll do next is, I'll just press here, right click, and then I'll go to duplicate. So I'll duplicate another table. So this table, I'll do some difference because I want to do a side-by-side comparison. So what I'll do is, I'll go to this added index. So instead of grouping starting from 0, I want to start this from number 1. So starting point is number 1 and then I press OK. So it starts with number 1. And then when I go to calculated modulo, so of course you'll see here there'll be some difference. So basically, of course, for July we'll have 0. So I don't want the 0. So what I'll do is, I'll just remove the 0. And then I press OK. So right now you'll have these details over here. And then what I'll do is, I'll go to table 1. And then the next step what I'll do is, I'll try to create a sequence. So I'll go to add column. I'll click the index column, but I won't click it here. I'll click from 1 because I want to start a sequence. I'll click from 1 so that we do have a sequence 1 up till to the end. So this sequence is important for us to know that the sequence starts from January to July and start from accounting and so on. So I'm going to select this position column and press Ctrl button and select the index column. So once I select these two, and then what I'll do next is, I'll go to Transform, I'll click on Merge Column. Merge column, I want the separator to be, you can choose anything, but this time I'll just choose equal sign and I press OK. So right now we do have these 2 columns has been merged. I'll do the same thing in table 1 too, whereby I'll select the position, I'll select the index column, and then I'll go to merge column, and then a box will appear. I'm going to choose the equal sign, and then I'm going to press OK. So right now we see that the columns have been combined. The next step, what I want to do is I want to combine these two queries. So I go to home, I click on merge query. I'm going to choose merge query as new, and then what I'm going to start with, a box will appear. So I'm going to choose here table 1, and over here I'm going to choose here table 1 2. So here we have two different tables, but I cannot press OK because I need to choose the common column. Between these two, this is the common column. So I'm going to select this. Of course, 5 of it is not matched because here we don't have the 0. Here we don't have the 0. Here we have the 0. So I'm going to press OK. And then what I'll do is the new query has been merged. And then after that, I'm going to create this. I want to expand the table, untick the original column and press OK. So here you go. So now it has been merged. But if you notice carefully, the sequence is not in the proper format. So that's why what I need to do is I need to ascend, sort in ascending order. And then there you go, it has been arranged in the ascending order. And then what I'll need to do is, of course, here we have the values. So I'll just drag the values, put it over here. So here we do have the current month head count. Here we have the previous month head count. So first thing is, before I subtract, I need to remove the null, replace it with 0. So I go to transform, I replace value, and the null I replace with 0. And then I press OK. So right now you'll notice that whatever it is null, it has become 0. And then what I'll do is I'll minus this. So select this column, press shift, select this column, go to add column, standard, and subtract. So basically it will deduct the column and we'll get the how many recruits that we hired for the particular month. So I'll just drag this and put it at the front. Okay, so I'll just drag this again and put it in the front. So now we do have the particular hires for the respective months. And then what I can do is I can split this column. So I can go here, right click, and then split, and then by delimiter, a box will appear and I press OK. So here you go, we have already split. Next step, what I want to do is basically I want 3 columns: the attribute, these details, the subtraction column, and the position. So I'll go to home, I go to choose column, and then I go to choose column, and then what I do is I unselect this, select attribute, select subsection, select merge 1.1, and then I press OK. So once I press OK, so this is the details. So let me just rearrange this. So this is the position, this is the months, and this is the new hire. Okay, so now we do have these details. What I'll do next is I'll just go here, I'll go to number filter, and I'll put that greater than 0 because I don't want to have any 0. So I'll put here greater than 0, and I press OK. So now you'll notice this is our details. Then what I'll do is I'll go to close and load to, and then I just want to close and load as a connection. So only create connection and press OK. So one connection has been formed, and then what I'll do is I'll put my cursor over here, right click, load to, and then I'll just put load as a table format and press OK. So now you'll see this is the details has been formed and so on.